following the recent green light given by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for start of campaigns for the 2023 general elections. The question is, will the parties, candidates and supporters conduct a decent advertisement campaign, or will it be characterized by what we see on social media, where mockery, ridicule and even barefaced hatred are the defining features? With cutting-edge technology, it is relatively easy in this digital era to manipulate, distort and misrepresent an image to achieve a certain objective. Much as the elections present a fierce battle, it is by no means a do-or-die battle, as it is now generally considered in some quarters. Rather, it should be viewed as a healthy competition in which the goal is the progress and general well-being of the populace, and where at the end, individual interests are subjugated to national interests, whereby opponents are viewed not as enemies, the eventual winner seen rather as a fellow Nigerian that should be lovingly supported in every way possible in the great task of nation building that awaits him. Therein lies patriotism, service to fellow men. Few months to the 2023 general election, Nigerians have asked politicians to speak practical ways they hope to ameliorate the people's suffering, also urging politicians to avoid deception in their promises to the Nigerian people. Meanwhile, to have a decent campaign, we must note this. Number one, crowdfunding is legit and permissible during campaign, but Section 88, subsection 8 of the Electoral Act 2022, which says no individual or other entity shall donate to a candidate more than 50 million naira. More importantly, Section 88, subsection 2 of the Act says the maximum election expenses to be incurred by a candidate at a presidential election shall not exceed 5 billion naira. 2. Section 92 makes it mandatory that a political campaign or slogan should not be tainted with abusive language directly or indirectly likely to injure religion, ethnic, tribal, or sectional feelings. And 3. Section 92 subsection 5 says a political party, aspirant or candidate of a political party should not retain, organize, train or equip any persons or group of persons for the purpose of enabling them to be employed for the use or display of physical force in promoting any political interest, or in such manner arose reasonable apprehension that they organized, trained or equipped for that purpose. It is also important to bring the attention of our law enforcement agency what the law expects them to do during the campaign season. In conclusion, all candidate and his or her party must campaign for the election in accordance with rules and regulations as determined by the Commission to achieve a decent campaign, which in turn will help reduce or eliminate voters' apathy and election. Let's move on. What do you think Nigerians can do to actually have a decent campaign and at the same time be able to achieve what we want to achieve in Nigeria, being a better country?
Yes. Being a better country, well underlined. We are far behind where we're expected to be, right from time of our independence down to where we are today. It is quite unfortunate that we are, instead of making progress, we are maybe retrogressing, in some cases even stagnant. When we are not stagnant, we are retrogressing, and it is quite unfortunate. Now, election is just an opportunity to get leadership right. You understand? And in that circumstance, it is very paramount that the people that are on the stage, the political actors, they just have to try as much as possible to get their campaign right. And there are two sides of the divide: the people that are campaigning for and the people that are campaigning. You understand? And the campaignants, they should make it a duty that they make their campaign decent enough, because right from First Republic, that have been our issue here, that have been a problem fundamentally, abusing one party or the other. And at the same time, by the time you are doing that, most unfortunate, the sensitive, gullible masses, you start seeing them forming divide, creating their followership, and at the end of the day, by the time you get there, I mean, they are voted into power, one way or the other. The person that is supposed to be in the particular, either the person or the group of people that are supposed to be on the stage of the political theater, they are not the person that you find there. So it is quite unfortunate. Now, this is an opportunity even to tell them that, look, while you're on stage, you have to be decent with your language, with what you express to the people. You understand? Like, because of lack, this is quite very fundamental by virtue of the kind of audience that we have in Nigeria. The audience that have a warped mind, the audience that are very gullible, the audience that cannot reason for themselves, the audience that cannot think out of the box.
Yes, Steve,
you understand? So those are the kind of problems that we are really having. You understand? I said there are two sides of the divide. Those that are making campaign and those. If you have an enlightened audience, like what your program is about, you understand? If you had an enlightened audience and somebody is talking nonsense, is not his campaign is fouled with obscene, indecent languages, one way or the other. If you are a critical listener, you have a choice. The power lies in you to say, oh, this kind of person, I don't agree with his own style of life. But unfortunately, the kind of audience we are, illiterate, gullible, indecent audience. So by the time you're having an obscene campaign, the people, the followership too, majorly, they're not educated. Obscene followers. In the whole theater becomes so theater of absurdity. So it's quite unfortunate, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
While we are talking, I just remember.
Yes.
Thank God for social media. You see that some leaders, they will abuse themselves in the open.
Yes.
At night or some other times, you see them hobnobbing, attending to their children's wedding, attending to social functions, of course, even having business relationships together.
Yes.
Yet, they refuse to tell, or of course, the followers are now hooked to that thought that this man is an enemy of this man, whereas they are friends. They are all just their interests that they are trying to protect. Can we hear something about that? Is that the right way to go?
But that's not actually the right way to go.
Okay.
Most unfortunately, if I may tell you, there is only one political party in Nigeria, party of corruption.
Oh.
You understand? You see, all of them, they drink from the same fountain of water.
Steve, no kill me.
No. You see,
party of corruption.
Corruption. You understand? None of them are really sincere
with us.
With us. That's the tragedy of the political system in Nigeria. So and unfortunately, the audience, they cannot decide the dishonest from the honest ones. That is the problem that we actually have. And a lot of things have been adduced to that. One, illiteracy, poverty, because at the end of the day, look at the election is coming now. They are leading people to all this making indecent campaigns. They are leading people to Gallo. You understand? By the time they capture them, you understand? By the time they capture them, they are going to go on the journey of slavery for another 4 years. You understand? So it is quite unfortunate that we have a system. The audience, the followership, the electorate is still even the problem. You understand? There are certain kind of mundane things we have to have reason above, but unfortunately, we are still being ruled by these people that are trying as much as possible, to deceive the electorate. But the electorate, if they are wise enough, they ought not to take their bait, their hook. You understand? Because it's their hook is poisonous. So I think it is time to really think, reason think out of the box. You know, these people. I listened to the speaker before me. You know, you see, one thing is very fundamental. You look at where somebody is coming from. You understand? You look at his antecedents. There are certain ways, actually, even psychologically, if somebody is even telling you certain things, you can decide the truth. But unfortunately, we have certain things that are making it possible for people to listen very well. There are religious, or some pre-modern, mundane sentiment.
God, this is too much for us. Break it down.
I'm talking to some people understand what we're going to. So
don't mind him, he's on the cheap guy. If I were this stuff, he brought some of us up. So he's flying. If Chief Ganifa were the guest, that's how he behaves. No, come down to our level.
So I just believe personally that.
So mundane, break those things.
There are some
things that are not workable.
Yes, exactly.
That are
exactly. Those things. There are certain things they easily deceive us with. Those things are not basic. You understand?
But some of these politicians have been able to provide some infrastructure. They've been able to make good their promises.
I think some of them actually has done their best, but their best is not good enough for that. Because at times in the city of the blind, when you have one-eyed man, he becomes a king. But where people have two eyes, it is very difficult to be led by one-eyed man. So unfortunately, with the resources at our disposal, north, south, east or west, even with the mental resources, mental capital, which God has given this very country, we are not supposed to be there. You understand? So that is the tragedy we are really having. So I really believe, as somebody, you are like you are saying something from my experience. You know, that was the time I was contesting the security. I heard you were talking about the issue of security.
Yes.
You know the rigged election in this country.
Yes. You tell us your experience, the innocent side, because I've already introduced it.
You just mentioned it now.
Before we forget.
When I was contesting to the House of Representatives, it was, they were rigging rigging election.
The rigging was rampant there.
No, in a local government, you cannot still even cover everything. You still go to the village. There are still ample chances to rig election even now. You understand? When you are talking about city, you see what is going on in the city. The election they are going to rig, they will go into all these hot local places. You are on the field now, you know better than what I'm saying. You understand? Then we go there, they were rigging that election. I went there with all my cousins. By the time actually we got there, I saw security men that are supposed to ensure that there is a decent, transparent election, but rather they were assisting, completing.
Wow.
I challenge them. I have that thought country.
Wow.
I had that boldness. I challenged them before I knew what was happening. They put me at the book. No. Before putting me at the book of it.
Where did they put
the book of yes, Africa.
Let him say it now.
Well, you understand? The first thing they did was to put ink on my fingers, and they stopped my pocket with a ballot papers, and said that I was the person rigging the election. The accused, the accused are totally yes. Before I knew, they put me at the boot of something. Even I made them realize it was bothering fire sharer. And I told him that if something should happen to me, I'm not the ordinary candidate. I'm a lawyer, a human rights activist. The fire will not last 48 hours on that throne. So it was as that bad. You see, when people that are supposed to monitor election and ensure transparency compromise at that very level, that aspect you still have to look into it.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. Very, very fundamental. Because if it's one thing you can pay the other thing. Yes, they compromise. When they compromise, it's just like when you say when the gold rust, what will I do? You know, people that are put at the to monitor election to ensure there is sanity in our electoral system, and they are doing the opposite. There's no way you can have
this issue of thumb printing. Did it take place all over your constituency, your own constituency?
Thumb printing is rampant. What I mean, very, very rampant everywhere in the whole country. Maybe you know you know what I'm saying. Unless you want to hide this.
No, I'm not hiding. I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate.
Everywhere. Is the law rather than the exception.
Okay, very quickly, we have some messages from our viewers. That story you just said, I'm still thinking about what?
You just
Sun newspaper reported it a full page.
Whoa!
He edited it.
Whoa!
Let's have what.
Yes, people are. Yes, a lot of messages have been coming in. This one is from Mark Ahmed. Says trust deficit is the issue. Nigerians should focus more on past records of parties and the actors, because character is very different to be changed overnight. Another one says, this says, if you are paid big money by these old politicians to campaign and possibly vote for them, though evil, but it is understandable. If you are not paid well by them and you're still doing that, you need a psychiatric examination. This is Emeka from Lagos. What do you say about this?
About
being paid.
He said if you are being paid, you know, to vote for them, it's understandable, but when you're not being paid, then the person needs to make a psychiatric examination.
I think that's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Actually, you see, when you are giving money, how much are they going to give you? Your stomach infrastructure, you know, created by, created and popularized by Fauci.
Your friend.
Yes. You understand? You see, it's quite unfortunate that we can still be at that very level in this country.
People thinking that way.
You're thinking that it's quite an unfortunate thing to be thinking about. Like I said at Metro, leadership is key to the growth and development of the country. Once you have it wrong, get it wrong, no other thing can be right. No any other thing, any sector of the country. In fact, you are going to have a state of anomaly. You understand? So once you get leadership wrong, and we are moving, 2023 is so important. Once you get it wrong, I pray we don't. Once you get it wrong, it's another journey to another 4 years of excruciating slavery and servitude. Where will be like the baker or something, gnashing of teeth.
It will be excruciating. It will be painful. So
in essence, if you have the fear of God and they give you money, you are supposed. Some people have the view that you should take the money and vote. You don't even have to take it at all. With that first step, but in the face of poverty, people will take money.
Yeah.
You understand? And some people, they can't feed once in a day. And once such opportunity comes, they take money.
Take it.
And go and vote for the person.
Okay.
And these people, they are so powerful, they'll be monitoring whether you vote for them or not.
Okay.